I'm Austin Kohler. I am a recent graduate of the Aero Lab, and I graduated with a master's in mechanical engineering. I currently work at a kind of small company called Dynamic Dimension Technologies. They do kind of modeling, simulation work, and they work with a lot of defense contractors. I've always wanted to go into kind of research and development style things, and so it was kind of always on my docket. I think without grad school, I probably would still be able to do some things that I enjoyed, but it's definitely opened up a lot of doors and given me opportunities to find more fulfilling work than I would have otherwise. For my capstone design project, for my senior project, I did the design build fly competition, the AIAA one. And so I met a lot of people there who were actually went on to go to Dr. Hunsaker's Aero Lab and had taken some classes like aerodynamics and stuff from him and really liked him as a professor. And so I kind of actually harassed my way into the lab by just kind of, hey, Dr. Hunsaker, got any grad positions open? Got anything open? Just kind of the atmosphere of the Aero Lab. It's kind of it's a pretty fun lab. We do a lot of kind of fundamental research rather than, experimental type stuff. For me, I really enjoyed the kind of more fundamental approach to figuring out your problem and going through the process. For my project, I ended up working on a pretty cool project called the BIRE, which stands for Bio-Inspired Rotating Empennage. So essentially you cut off the vertical stabilizer of an aircraft and you kind of just rotate the tail instead. It's bio-inspired. It's supposed to replicate how birds kind of do their flight. And that project itself was really cool and exciting. We had a really good team. And I ended up finding some of my passions there while working on that project, which I think is one of the most valuable parts of the lab. Let's see. So some of the main difficulties is a lot of it was kind of strange to say, but a lot of it was scheduling. So just trying to get into the correct habits for being productive in research. I really wanted to graduate December of 22. But it was a pretty tight window. And so I ended up putting in a lot more than the typical 40 hours a week. There's always something more you can add. And so making sure that you can kind of constrain your scope into something that's manageable in the time you've been given is a pretty difficult task. So during my undergrad, I did a lot of part-time work, and that helped a lot with keeping the debt down. But for grad school, I got a lot of support from my spouse. She was working at the time, and my parents had set aside some money for college. That helped a little bit as well. And then through the Aero Lab, I got a research stipend as part of my research there. So that helped pay some bills. My one piece of advice is kind of try to figure out what you want out of your career, and to figure out if a degree, like a grad school degree, is something that would help you in that field. There's a reason that the Aero Lab is a pretty constructive environment, a very efficient it's a good research environment. And so I'd recommend that you make the most out of your time there and really try to soak up, the kind of the mindset and the perspectives that Dr. Hunsaker has. Try to make as many good relationships in the lab as you can. The people there are smart people, and they're going to go on to do great things. And just try to make as many friends as you can. Talk to people, go to events, be a member of the lab.